Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Iggy's Bodybuilding Camp. In today's video, I'm going to look at two very different dieting approaches. IIFYM, if it fits your macros, versus clean eating. Now both of these dieting approaches have been used to success by many people within the fitness industry, and the purpose of today's video is to give you the pros and cons of both these approaches, tell you which approach I follow and why, and hopefully then when you're going about and creating your own dieting plan and strategy, you can decide what the best approach is for you. To begin with, let's look at IIFYM. If it fits your macros is a dieting approach which requires you to set your calorie limit for the day. So whether you're bulking, cutting, maintaining weight, you're going to say this is the amount of calories I'm going to take in for the day, that's my limit. And within that limit you've got your macronutrient limit. So you've got your carbs, your fats and your proteins, and you're going to define what they are within that calorie limit. So to illustrate, let's say you're on 2,000 calories a day. You might say 1,000 calories will be for carbs, 500 for fats and 500 for protein. You can pretty much eat whatever you want to eat as long as you stick within those limits. You're good to go. So an example would be, you might want to have some ice cream. So you're going to have to account for the fact that you're getting the extra fat and the carbs by eating a lean meat source. So it's about balancing out your different macronutrients to make sure you hit your goals. The beauty of this type of dieting approach is that it gives you so much flexibility, variety, it doesn't restrict you. So from a psychological perspective, when you're dieting, you don't feel like you're dieting. Even though you're calorie restricting, you can eat and incorporate the things that you love. You can have a cookie, you can have some cake, you can have a slice of pizza, you can go out to eat with family and friends and not feel like the outcast because you're just sitting there with chicken breast and salad. You can basically live a normal life. And as long as you have everything within moderation and you track your calories and your macronutrients using something like MyFitnessPal, you're good to go. And it's a great approach for people who don't want to be, confined to certain types of foods. The downside of IIFYM is people that just take it to an extreme. These are people who say, right, I'm not going to eat anything good. I'm just going to eat all the things that I love to eat, all the junk food in the world, and then I'm going to supplement by having, some whey protein in a shake to make sure that I'm hitting the other macronutrients. That is not the way to do IIFYM. By following the approach of, I'm not going to eat anything that's good for me at all, I'm just going to have lots of junk food, you're restricting your body from things like vitamins and minerals, and especially fiber, because a lot of these diets that incorporate lots of junk are going to be high in sugar, they're going to be high in saturated fats, and although you've stuck to your calorie goal, so on the outside aesthetically you look great, on the inside you're not going to be doing so great. And this is how cancer comes about, because of all of the crap, the chemicals that are in junk food. At the end of the day, the purpose of IIFYM is flexible dieting and moderation. That is the key here, moderation, guys. Not going to an extreme with the dieting approach. Incorporate the things you like to eat, but on top of that, balance it out with foods that are also high in nutrient dense, good for you foods. Let's now look at the clean eating diet approach. Now, this is where you're not counting calories, you're not tracking any of your macronutrients, you're eating when you're hungry and eating till you're satisfied, and you can eat anything which is quote unquote healthy, bro foods that are recognized as being unprocessed, whole, nutrient dense, good for you foods. So your protein sources could be lean meats like chicken, turkey, fish, lean beef, eggs, milk. Your carb sources could be oatmeal, rice, potato, high fiber carbs such as vegetables. You can have whole grain pasta, whole grain bread. Your fats are going to come from avocados, nuts, seeds, peanut butter. Basically all the foods that you recognize as being healthy and good for you. Now, the pros of this dieting approach are quite simple. You're going to be feeling full, you're going to be satisfied because you're eating lots of food. So from a hunger perspective, you should never really feel hungry. You're going to be getting a good amount of vitamins and minerals and fiber, so that's all fantastic. You know, it's a great dieting approach. The downside is obviously you're going to be restricting yourself to the types of foods that you can eat. So you can't just go out and eat it in any restaurant with your friends and family, and if you do, you're going to have to pretty much restrict yourself to certain menu items. And a lot of people who are following this type of diet routine will just not go out to eat because they'd rather not be in that situation where they're, you know, limited to food and they feel almost like a bit of an outcast. The other thing is, unfortunately, in the world we live in, healthy foods are the most expensive foods. So if I go into a superstore and I want to buy a bunch of asparagus, that's going to cost me about £4. For £1, I can get a big bag of, you know, other chips. So the issue with clean eating is, one, it's very expensive. Two, it basically restricts you to certain types of foods, and you also are going to have to prepare the foods. A lot of the times it's going to require cooking, and that takes more time. So it's more money, it's more time. And a lot of people who follow clean eating, because they don't want to be cooking constantly and all the time, they cook a lot of things in bulk and they end up eating the same things again and again and again. And so although you're getting vitamins and minerals, by limiting the variety of foods, you're also maybe limiting the range of vitamins, minerals that you could be taking in. On top of that, this type of dieting approach can have a psychological effect, in the sense that you're never eating the things that you want to eat sometimes. You're never eating the things that you enjoy. And that's not healthy and can cause eating disorders. So when you do eventually get around to eating the foods you enjoy, you end up overeating. And, you know, it's just an approach which, for those people that aren't, you know, that don't have food cravings, it's great. But for people who do, it can feel almost like torture at times. The dieting approach that I follow is if it fits your macros. And the reason why is because I like to know how many calories I'm taking in and have control over the macronutrients that I'm taking, because that is going to enable me to be able to hit my goals in the gym. So I know that I need to take in a certain amount of carbs, my body needs a certain amount of protein in order to build muscle and repair, I need a certain amount of fats to regulate my testosterone. So having control over my calorie and macronutrient intake is important for me. Just like you need to know how much money is coming in so you know how much money you want to spend, it's very similar. It's calories in versus calories out, and knowing what, you know, whether you're bulking. When you're bulking, you want to have some calories over what you're taking in. When you're cutting, you want to have calories under what you're taking in. Having a view of the intake and expenditure is very, very important. In my opinion, you can't just eat on instinct. If you're following a clean eating approach and you're bulking and you're eating lots of healthy foods, you might feel as though you're eating non-stop and still you're not putting on any muscle, because all of these foods can be very high in fiber and very filling. If, on the other hand, you're cutting and you're on a clean eating diet approach, you could easily overeat. You know, 300-400 calories overeating, that's your deficit gone. That's your calorie deficit done. You're not burning fat anymore. And it's so easy to overeat on things like peanut butter. I could eat a bowl of pasta and not even feel full, and I've already eaten 600-700 calories. So for me, it's about being able to regulate my diet. It's about having control of what I'm eating, but at the same time having the flexibility to eat and incorporate the things I like to eat. And a lot of the things that I like to eat are actually healthy foods. So I love eating oatmeal with whey protein. I love chicken breast. Grilled chicken is delicious. You know, I love rice. So I incorporate all the things that I like to eat, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I want to maybe have an Oreo ice cream sandwich, or I want to have some chips with my burger or with my chicken breast. I've got that variety. In my opinion, guys, IIFYM, but a moderated, controlled version of IIFYM, where you incorporate lots of your healthy, whole, unprocessed foods, that is the best approach to go. So it's almost like a hybrid of the two is the best way to go. Anyway guys, hope you found the video informative and it gives you the level of information you need to go out and then follow your dieting plan. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Keep living the life, be the best version of yourself that you can be, and I'll see you next time.